The I-Team continues to dig into allegations of corruption and mistreatment at the Niagara SPCA. Several board members have stepped down over the last year. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Hannah Buehler got an exclusive tour of the shelter. She asked the director why some policies were not followed.
A breach in policy over the euthanasia of 3 dogs last year, along with other internal issues, has board members and an executive director, all once connected to the Niagara SPCA, sounding the alarm to the 7 Eyewitness News I-Team.
There's about 6 board members who all resigned because they just had enough of all these breaches and complaints coming in and being unresolved.
According to the former board members, the issue started in October of last year when 3 dogs were euthanized, 2 within a day of each other, without consulting with the euthanasia committee. These documents show the committee was formed in August of 2018, consisting of the shelter manager, the SPCA veterinarian, staff behaviorists, and 2 board designees, all who would collectively vote on the euthanasia of an animal.
These cases would run through the committee. We would determine if there was the possibility of rehab, if we could send the animal to rescue, or if we deemed that this animal was just not safe.
But that policy wasn't always followed, and former board members say the 3 dogs were put down without a committee vote. Current Executive Director Tim Brennan acknowledged the breach in policy in an internal email, writing, quote, "All 3 cases should have come to the euthanasia committee since they were all non-medical euthanasia." Brennan told us his staff didn't even know the committee and policy existed.
When that was questioned, I immediately went to Dr. Brown, and neither Dr. Brown or the shelter manager or the behaviorist, all on the euthanasia committee, they were not aware of any euthanasia policy. They had not received a copy. There was no signed acknowledgement that they had received it. I am acknowledging that the responsibility stops with me, absolutely.
And that should have been done and handled differently?
I believe that it was handled to the best of everyone's ability that was involved, knowing what they knew and having the information that they had at hand, absolutely.
So you're saying that these employees had never seen this policy before?
They had not.
Even though prior to that, other euthanasias had always gone to the committee?
There was never a euthanasia committee with the previous executive director.
Former executive director Amy Lewis says that's not true and points to these meeting minutes from August 2018 where the board approved a no-kill policy and outlined exactly what positions would sit on the euthanasia committee. Brennan admits the euthanasia of the 3 dogs last October was questionable.
After the questionable euthanasias of the dogs, I changed the policy to make it perfectly clear that any non-medical, whether it include aggressive dog or not, all non-medical would go to the euthanasia committee.
And says he and the board have now created a new no-kill policy for the shelter and shows us here all employees have been provided a copy and have signed off on it.
And in hindsight, there's certainly decisions that I would make differently today than I had then.
Hannah Buehler, 7 Eyewitness News.